Hello, it's me again. Okay, so I've been collecting hawthorn flowers. They're sometimes called Mayflower. There's a famous boat that was called the Mayflower hundreds of years ago that went exploring or something, I forget the story now. Anyway, so the reason I collect hawthorn flowers is because they're one of my favourite medicines. I started getting heart problems about 20 years ago, and I found that these are the best medicine for my heart and circulation. They're not just good for the heart; they're good for all-round circulation. So they're good for the brain. They're good for all your organs. They're good for your pecker. Keep your pecker up. They've got loads of flavonoids in, which is really good for your veins and your vascular system. But they've also got a chemical in there called vitexin, and vitexin sort of scrubs the inside of your veins clean, so that it really does improve your circulation, make your veins more elastic and stronger and healthy, and just make. If you have them regularly, you're very unlikely to get like any sort of circulation problems at all. In Germany, about 3 million people, last time I heard, about 20 odd years ago, take hawthorn regularly. They get it extracts prescribed from the doctor. And the reason I don't buy extracts is because the flowers are much more effective than extracts of the berry. The extracts tend to come from the berries or a mixture of the leaves and the flowers. They've got an interesting smell. It's not very pleasant, but it's not unpleasant. There's a chemical in there that is the same chemical that gets produced when a body dies, but they don't smell like dead things exactly. It's also in sperm. They're not, it's not particularly nice smell. It's very musky, sort of. When they're dried and you make them into tea, though, they've got a sort of aftertaste, which reminds me of bananas. So let me just show you what I'm going to do here. Let me just put this camera down a little bit. Is that right? Whoops. There we go. That should do it. So I'm just going to put these out, spread them out on some cardboard. They're quite a lot of hassle to pick, and you have to pick a lot of them. It's hard work, you got to pick them on the right day. They come out around the beginning of May, so they're just starting to come out now. I've still got another couple of weeks where I can pick them. They take a few days to dry, so I can probably get like 3 or 4 times as much as this over the course of the next few weeks, and I will really want to do that. I pick as much as I can, and and that I can dry out. This is about as much as I could pick in the nearby area. I'm going to have to probably travel all around to try and find other places where I can pick them, and quite possibly not such good places. So they'll just sit there on that bit of cardboard in the corner of my room. I'll probably have to open the window a little bit actually to let the air circulate more. Put this back up now. You've seen what I'm doing here. So yeah, you can't buy them on the internet. You can't buy the flowers, as far as I can tell. It's such a lot of work. I mean, that was like getting off an hour's work But the thing is, it's you can't just do it any time. It's not like something you can do all year round. You've got a very short window of about 2 weeks, barely 2 weeks, that you've got to find hawthorn trees that you can reach the flowers from. There's loads of hawthorn trees where you can't reach the flowers because they're too big. There's no way of climbing up the tree because it's all full of thorns. So you'll just get impaled. So yeah, they are prescribed for heart problems. They're prescribed for memory problems, and possibly other circulation problems, that people have. They're one of the herbs that I just don't want to be without. And I've tried the other extracts, and they're not as good. That's why I pick the flowers. I go out my way to go and pick them, because, and I'll make a tea. I'll fill up a teapot up with the dried flowers, like a two cup teapot, and pour enough water on for 1 cup, and all the flowers will sink down into the water, and you'll get a very strong tea. And I'll use it about 3 times. I'll just top it up with hot water the next day or a couple of days later. Doesn't taste bad. I can use it as a base to mix some other extracts with, but I really notice it. I really notice it with my heart gets stronger. It balances your circulation, so it balances your blood pressure. You can think more clearly. You just got more energy. This is what I find it does. It's really worth the effort to go and pick some. If you live in America, like somewhere like California, you probably won't be able to find any. This is one of those things you can only really get it in like temperate climates, and you have to go and pick it yourself. But fortunately, in England, it grows everywhere. So it's not hard to find. You can easily find it anywhere in England. It grows everywhere, especially on the sides of roads. But I don't like to pick it from the sides of roads because, of the pollution and stuff. Although it's not so bad nowadays, it's probably okay. But it can be hard to find some that's worth picking. It's away from roads and stuff, and yeah. And it's hard work picking it because you've got to pick it by hand. You've got to pick each little bunch of flowers separately. There's loads of thorns on the tree, so it's quite a bit of work, really, Ah, dear. So yeah, and the brain. It's really good for the brain as well. It keeps your brain working and your memory working really well because it's sort of, it looks after the circulation in your brain. You're much less likely to get a stroke. So John, that's what you want to be getting, hawthorn. I'm sure you can find it up in Norway. If on your day off, you can go and pick some now. I'm sure it'll be out soon up there. Okay, so what else am I talking about? The reason I mentioned the brain is because I've just got this other book, The Master and His Emissary, and it's really quite interesting. It's about the left and right brain hemispheres. There's some interesting. I just went straight to the conclusion. I haven't read the whole book yet. I just went straight to the conclusion at the end. About 50 pages. I've just started reading it. The Master Betrayed, the conclusion's called. See, the right brain is the master, and it sees the big picture. It's the intuition. People have been talking about this forever. Einstein talked about this. Like the right brain, the intuition is the master, and the left brain, the reasoning brain, is the servant, and it kind of needs to do what it's told by the intuition. But we've got with the written word. What happens with the written word? This is why I bang on about the written word, because what it does is it sends people into the left brain, and our world is basically a left-brained governed world, and it's like the servant has got control. whereas the master should be having control, the right brain, the intuition. But the way the written word works, it funnels everything into the left brain. So people become more left brain. The world becomes more left brain, reductionist. It was all geared up towards efficiency, right, at the expense of individuality. So this is where you get this conformist kind of like pressure to conform, to be like everyone else, don't be individuals, just be like everyone else, you know. And it's a really powerful force, and it works to try and make everything more efficient. But the problem is there's no one in charge. We don't really. It's self-serving. This you know, it's sort of like become more efficient for the sake of it. And the problem that I've noticed is that what happens and what is happening is that we end up becoming more efficient at destroying the world and creating a man-made mass extinction event. That's really all it is. You know, on the surface, you can think, oh, we're becoming more efficient. You know, humans are doing better. You know, we've got all this, all these resources available to us that we didn't have, all this technology. You know, our standard of living has gone up and up and up over the years, over the last 100 years, hugely. You know, we're almost everywhere in the world, everybody's standard of living has gone up, but their happiness has gone down. And that's what the left brain is really trying to do, is trying to get control over its own happiness. But it's shit at it. It does a really, really terrible job because it tries to control everything. It ignores the right brain, and it becomes a kind of monster, you know, and it just constantly is trying to make everything more and more efficient and better and better and better. But it doesn't serve people. It doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't even serve itself. It's fucking, it's like the orc. This is how the orcs work. You know, they're like, you know, it's just total madness. This guy can see that, but he explains it in a way that is quite technical and a bit difficult to understand. And you know, the left brain is the word brain, you know, whereas the right brain is the picture brain, you know, and it creates loads of bureaucracy. There's this sort of like explosion of bureaucracy. And we all know what arseholes bureaucrats tend to be. Like, most bureaucrats are just real arseholes, aren't they? And it's just creating more of them. And they more and more, they want to control everything and everyone. And what this means is they destroy the balance of nature. They hate any nature that is not being used, you know, and controlled for the benefit of more efficiency. You know, so if you're not growing food on it, you know, for the masses, then it's not being used properly. So they have to control it and turn it into farmland and stuff, you know. And they just can't help themselves because they're not thinking clearly. They're not using both sides of their brain. And this guy, Ian McGilchrist, he's made it very. He's like a professor, you know. He knows what he's talking about. He's at Oxford. He teaches English at Oxford University. Very intelligent guy. Done loads of research. He's just saying what I've been thinking for like, you know, a really long time. You know, decades. I've been thinking this. I've had the same idea. I think all this efficiency that people get involved in and all working towards all this technology, who does it actually serve? Because it doesn't even serve the humans. It definitely doesn't serve the planet. It doesn't serve the other animals, all the other life forms on the planet. It doesn't serve humans. So who is it for? Who is all this work for? Or what's all this technology for? It doesn't make us happier. It doesn't make us into better people. So what is the point of it all? There is no point to it. It's madness. It's literally a form, like a mental illness. It's where one side of your brain has taken control, and it's the wrong side of the brain. The left brain is the wrong bit. It should not be in control. You know, it's self-serving, it's narrow-minded, it's got tunnel vision, and it's fucking totally crazy. And it doesn't know what it's doing. It's useless at what it does. It's got its purpose. You know, it has got a place. But when you have the written word in conjunction with like it's hard to explain it. I'm going to have a cigarette. This probably deserves more thought and more, because it's for me, it's a hard thing to talk about. It's because I'm a right brain person, you know, thinker, generally speaking. You know, the evidence is very strong that we're in a man-made mass extinction event. And this is because we've gone too much into the left brain, and it's because of the written word. The written word, things like the Bible, and these religions that have got books at their heart, all the bureaucracy, the centralized power structures, this is all left brain stuff, and it's what's causing really, really serious fucking problems, you know. Really serious problems, you know, much worse than global warming. This is like we're really, really teetering on the brink of a total serious, like, apocalyptic nightmare, because of people being in the left brain, mainly because we've got the written word. We don't know how to deal with it. We don't. People think of it and they don't see how dangerous it is. It's like 10 times more dangerous than fire. And there's no like written word fire engine service, you know, to put out the problems of the written word. Yeah, we've got the fire service that will go and quickly put out a fire if they. But when it comes to the written word and we're destroying the planet, there's nothing. There's no one is doing anything to stop it. There's no one there to put the fire out, you know. You know, it's like a Frankenstein monster. The written word is a Frankenstein monster. You know, I said Christianity was like a Frankenstein monster, but really it's because they've got a book at the heart of it, and they've used that to basically dominate the world and take over control and get centralized power. You know, like the Vatican is one of the richest organizations on the planet, you know, and it's a monster. We all know about the paedophile priests and that, and the sort of, you know, keeping it all hidden from people. These people are. Also, when people are left-brained, they can't understand people like me. They have no clue what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter how carefully I say what I'm saying, how much evidence I put out there that's verifiable. They just can't understand it. You know, if you're basically, most people are really strong left-brain people that have been conditioned to stay in their left brain, and they can't understand things from a right-brain point of view. Whereas a right brain person at least has an idea of how to understand a left brain person, but they see them as basically completely crazy. You know, they're like insects. They're not human. They're not using the human part of their brain. They're more like cockroaches or something. Crazy fucking cockroaches with brains that are too big. They're too clever for their own good. I mean, the evidence is very, very strong that this is things that I'm saying, like, are definitely true. But, you know, you try to talk to left-brain people about this, and they just can't understand it. They've got like a mental block because they're looking at it in terms of a left-brain view on things. And as far as they're concerned, all this bureaucracy is great. When it comes to things like we're in a man-made mass extinction event, what they do is they just look out in the world and see, oh, there's plenty of food on the shelves. Everything looks okay, so it must be okay. You know, they're not concerned about, you know, 30,000 species of, you know, of life on the planet being destroyed every year, because it doesn't really affect them. They don't see it how it affects them, so it's not really an issue. They don't see that what the long-term consequences of things like this are going to be, because they're not looking at it with their right brain. I'm looking at it with my right brain. So, you know, I can see that the long-term consequences are going to be really, really severe and disastrous for all life on Earth, not just humans, but all life, you know. I mean, I haven't read that book yet all the way through, but just looking at the first few pages of the conclusion, I can see what he's getting at. You know, we need this balance between the left and right brain. It's a matter of life and death for the whole planet, you know, or the bulk of life on the planet at the moment. You know, we're really pushing the boundaries, and it's really not looking good. I mean, normal extinction rates are something like 1 to 200 throughout history. You know, they've been like 1 to 200 species a year, maybe, that have gone extinct. But at the same time, there's 1 to 200 species becoming active each year as well. New species being evolving. So there's a balance. There was a balance. Now there's maybe 1 or 200 species evolving every year still, but we're losing 30,000. You know, like a huge amount, and it's horrifying to me. This is horrifying. It's but a left brain person can't understand this. They don't see any problem with it. You know. They'll see a problem with it when there's no longer any, when the food starts running out, you know, and these problems become like practical problems. When they become practical problems, then these people will then have to deal with them. You know, all the time they're sort of like a relative distance. The left brain person doesn't have any inclination to even think about this stuff. They don't like responsibility. The left brain people don't want responsibility. This is one of the reasons I know that my channel doesn't do very well, because I'm trying to encourage people to be responsible. But when you've been conditioned to be a left brain thinker, the last thing you want is responsibility. You want to be part of a global system of people that are all the same and all share responsibility equally. And somebody else, the global catastrophe, which is the man-made mass extinction event, that must be somebody else's problem, right? That's how they think. It's not my responsibility. I'm only one person. I can't do anything about it. That's what they think. But of course, if everyone takes that attitude, well, all we're going to do is we're going to destroy all the life on the planet and make it uninhabitable for everyone. You know, so how is that serving everyone? It doesn't serve anyone at all, except maybe the devil, perhaps. Yeah. So anyway, there's this thing where it's just like, it doesn't matter what you do or what videos you make, you can't get through to these people. There's nothing you can really do about it. The guy I've been talking about and I've been looking at recently, Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, his idea is that we've totally fucked this planet already. It's totally fucked. You know, it's ruined already. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing anyone can do about it. There's all these people, these left-brain people that are going to kill, that are destroying the world more or less as quickly as they can. You know, as fast as they can. They're creating all these nasty chemicals. They're just using up all the resources way more quickly than is necessary. We've got planned obsolescence, so we're creating 10 times more produce in terms of like technology and stuff than we actually need to produce. You know, and it's creating huge amounts of pollution. And all it does is make businesses grow a bit more quickly. That's all. But the consequence, the negative side, is that we're ruining the planet. Now, to me, this is a really big problem. I mean, if you went home one day and you found people smashing your house up and burning your clothes and destroying all your furniture and stuff, because you would be fucking angry, wouldn't you? You'd want to stop it. So we're doing something which is like many orders of magnitude worse than that, and people are just like, they don't care. And of course, by the time those people like are forced to deal with the reality of what's going on, it will be too late to do anything about it. You know, this is why I make these videos. I know that they're pretty much hopeless. They're not going to go anywhere. People aren't going to listen. But I know I'm right, or I'm convinced that I'm right anyway. You know. It's difficult to know what to do, you know. You've got the interesting things in the Bible about talking about when the world goes to shit, people are going to want to go and live in the mountains, but there will be no escape from it. Because look, you've got to think about it. If you've got like 8 billion people all trying to find food, everywhere is going to be overrun with crazy people that are starving hungry and will do anything to get some food. So what I see happening is that when the shit hits the fan, it will escalate and snowball out of control very quickly. You know, once you've got like a few catastrophes around the planet and the crops aren't growing because of like weather conditions or whatever, there's no more fertilizer from the oil because the oil's run out. You know, the water's run out on the water tables, so you can't grow crops anyway, even if you did have fertilizer. Then everybody's going to go hungry. They're going to start looking around, trying to get to the places where food can be grown still, and they'll use it all up. They'll go crazy, and there'll be wars and the fighting and stuff. It seems inevitable to me. I mean, I haven't actually seen an apocalypse movie that deals with this stuff. You see loads of apocalypse movies dealing with like viruses and other types of disasters, but not the fact that humans are the cause of it, because like we've like used up all the resources and we can't grow anything anymore, and there's too many people and there's not enough food, and that's going to cause serious problems, you know. I just watched an interesting video a little while ago. This guy, what's his name? I forget the guy's name now, but he's about holistic farming and management. He's got this idea. He's got this place in Africa where he's turning deserts into pasture by using more animals to sort of graze the land and move them around in an orderly fashion around the land, so that they keep eating the grass down to, like, to stubble, and then they move them on, and all their crap and piss goes into the soil and fertilizes it, and their hooves make sort of like loosen the soil, and so that when it rains, the rain soaks into the soil. What's happening now in a lot of places is when it rains, all that happens is because there's no animals there, the rain washes all the soil away, and it doesn't sink into the ground. It doesn't get hailed, so it washes all the soil away, so you can't grow anything there, and it causes floods. There's no, it lowers the water table. There's no water. You can't grow crops. But the thing is, like, the industrial left brain fucking stupid power structures that these fucking governments have been helping to run, they don't like that kind of farming, because it's people, or you need a lot of people, and the animals are really good. You don't need pesticides. You don't need fertilizer. You know, so there's nothing. They can't make any money out of it. You know, and people have to own their own land. And the people that do this stuff have to own their own land. You can't just have companies owning all the land and everybody paying tax to them for no good reason when they're not getting anything back for all that tax. You know, so they don't like it. And people, these left-brain people, the majority of people, aren't waking up to the benefits of this. Instead, they just carry on eating like shit food. They're relying on like these industrial like companies to sort of like provide them with their shit food, and their brains stay fucked up. That the communities get destroyed. You know, fuck's like it's a nightmare. You know, it's they're turning everyone into fucking orcs. You know, most people are like orcs. They're like monsters. And they got shit food, so that makes them stupid, you know, and keeps them locked in their left brain. Anyway, you know, hopefully these things are starting to sort of spread. These ideas are spreading. This is one of the reasons I make these videos. Hopefully, you know, these ideas will spread more and more. Okay, I'm going to shut this video down now. Thanks for watching. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Thumb up the video, share it to some bumbling farmer in you know, Bolivia or somewhere. Bye.